to bed. Bill Hicks' Revelations premieres Friday, September 10th on HBO. And find out what the hell he's doing on this horse.
Next on HBO, a boxing doubleheader. Oscar De La Hoya, unbeaten, closing in on a title shot. And Roy Jones, also unbeaten, already a champion. De La Hoya versus Carter. And Jones versus Malinga next.
This is the year HBO breaks the network's hold on Emmy.
Malinga. Next on HBO.
The crowd is jammed.
That's Comedy Jam! That's Comedy Jam! That's Comedy Jam!
The crowd.
It could only happen here tonight on HBO.
The following is a special presentation of HBO Sports, celebrating 20 years of World Championship Boxing.
Once upon a time, boxing offered an abundance of exciting fighters who transcended the sport.
And Leonard, those guys were something else. But now there's two new kids on the block, guaranteed to be just as exciting.
Hey, Oscar, this show must really happy.
Boxing's most promising and talked about fighters, Oscar De La Hoya and Roy Jones Jr., set to put their talents on display against two formidable opponents.
So don't leave your set.
Because this might not last long.
The future of boxing
begins now.
Very wobbly in the center of the ring. Takes another right hand. Now tries to fight off the ropes. Combinations of unbelievable! Unbelievable!
Tonight, live from Casino Magic in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi, HBO Sports presents a boxing doubleheader. First, you'll see 1992 Olympic gold medalist Oscar De La Hoya as he takes on Renaldo Little Red Carter in a 10-round junior lightweight bout. Then the IBF middleweight champion Roy Jones moves up in weight and takes on tough South African Thulani Malinga, never before knocked out, in a super middleweight bout also scheduled for 10 rounds. Casino gambling recently ordained here on the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. This particular casino, Casino Magic, using boxing to expand its image, scores a big event tonight as both Jones and De La Hoya gamble on the continued expansion of their red-hot careers. Hello again, everybody. I'm Jim Lampley. Welcome back to HBO's World Championship Boxing. Several firsts for us tonight. Our first trip to the Gulf Coast of Mississippi to show you Oscar De La Hoya on HBO for the very first time. Our first look at Roy Jones since he won the middleweight championship on the undercard of Bo Ferguson in Washington, D.C. earlier this spring. Working with me, as always, HBO boxing analyst Larry Merchant. Larry, we're excited about watching Roy Jones and Oscar De La Hoya. What is at stake for the two young American stars tonight?
Well, this is one of those opportunities, as Norman Mailer once wrote, to appraise the talent in the room, which is another way of saying they are expected to win. The question is, how do they win? I said talent in the room. The fact that the room is a jam-packed tent in Mississippi is a whole other story. But talent, wherever you find it or display it, is talent. And Jones and De La Hoya are talent. However, in winning the middleweight title in his last fight, Jones was exposed somewhat as a slightly flawed talent by his own admission. He has explained that outside of the ring. He has to start explaining it inside the ring tonight. De La Hoya is young and undefeated, and all things seem possible for him now. Perhaps because he hasn't faced that really tough opponent yet, or perhaps he's that rare star who seems bigger than the sky itself.
You point out that the opposition has been relatively lackluster. Therefore, there have been few questions for De La Hoya earlier in his career. But now there is one question. Can he overcome the first significant injury of his career, an injury to the left hand which caused this postponement, and then the cancellation of a scheduled date in Las Vegas on July 17. He's been under the treatment of Los Angeles orthopedic surgeon Tony Daly, who gave De La Hoya a series of rehabilitative exercises, no surgery.
Oscar essentially had a sprain of where the hand bone meets the wrist bone. Okay? And it's very common in boxers. It's not career-threatening, and it's not going to cause them any trouble over the long term.
Right now, I have no pain at all. I mean, mentally and physically, I'm just ready to go. Sometimes fighters are kind of bothered by it mentally after it's well physically, but with me, I mean, I'm hitting harder. I'm just working hard in the gym because I've been doing weights on it, and it's just gotten much stronger than it was before.
Larry Merchant, what's your take on how the hand bone will meet the wrist bone in Oscar De La Hoya's left jab and left hook?
Well, the real point is how he deals with this. The fight game ain't as easy as he's made it look so far, I don't think. Right now, he's like a 2-year-old horse that's been named the Horse of the Year. Sometimes those horses go on to win the Kentucky Derby, and sometimes they don't even get there.
And as is the case with so many Olympic gold medalists, what's at stake for De La Hoya is big stardom. And as a result of one critical difference between De La Hoya and other Latin stars like Roberto Duran and Julio Cesar Chavez, he has the chance to rise to unprecedented heights. In a sport not known for its good guy images, it takes a special fighter with special qualities to rise above the politics and confusion. That fighter may be Oscar De La Hoya, an undefeated lightweight who is making people take notice for all the right reasons.
But you can see De La Hoya side to side. Look at him spin off the ropes, out into the middle. Here's a kid, Tim, so far I can't find any flaw with him at all. He seems to have it all.
People like a fighter who doesn't have a bad image or a bad name, and a fighter who is a good role model. And probably that's why they picked me.
That quest for stardom skyrocketed when De La Hoya won the United States Olympic boxing team's only gold medal at Barcelona last year. While fulfilling the dream of his deceased mother, Oscar also fulfilled his own, holding up 2 flags, demonstrating to the world his American citizenship and his Mexican ancestry. Whether the Golden Boy knew it or not, corporate America was already watching and preparing to jump on the De La Hoya bandwagon.
When you take a look at his smile and his charisma and the magnetic attraction he has around the ring, people just gravitate to him. And that gives us a marketing opportunity that we think might be very, very useful and potentially explosive for all of us, including him.
What makes De La Hoya's rise to celebrity even more amazing is that he's had only 8 professional bouts, participating in a sport advertisers usually shy away from. He becomes the first Hispanic fighter to cross the one barrier that hindered even the public careers of Roberto Duran, Hector Camacho, and Julio Cesar Chavez.
It's probably because they didn't speak English pretty well. You have to have that charisma, I guess, where people always talk about charisma. I don't even know what it is, but you have to have that charisma. The charisma. Sugar Ray had it. Muhammad Ali had it. But, I mean, again, they didn't know how to speak Spanish, so, I mean, I guess that advantage that I have is speaking Spanish and English.
Especialmente cuando me dan todos estos consejos de boxeo. Y son gratis. Bueno.
No hagas muchos tus hombros y pégale más al cuerpo.
Suscríbase al servicio Llámame de MCI hoy mismo.
Put education first, and please stay away from drugs and gang violence.
From his dad's Monte Carlo to his brother's Camaro to Oscar's Corvette.
When you have a dream, anything's possible.
Aside from MCI and Chevrolet, De La Hoya signed a multi-year six-figure deal with Champion Footwear, which even designed and created its first set of boxing shoes just for Oscar. But his biggest endorsement to date is with Bum Equipment. As part of a long-term six-figure deal, De La Hoya's face will be seen on over 30,000 billboards across the country this fall, promoting the company's apparel. Bum's also designed the new ring wardrobe for De La Hoya's corner tonight. And come September, he'll have his own clothing line with his official logo and signature.
We're gonna have sweatpants and jeans and things like that. So it's really gonna be a clothesline that I guess college kids and you know, high school kids and even grown-ups can use. So everybody's gonna hopefully be happy with it and buy the merchandise.
But with endorsements and notoriety come more time constraints and the demand of juggling all the pieces in the puzzle, something the 20-year-old is only learning to cope with.
I'm not afraid of burning myself out or nothing like that, but it's just that I sometimes get frustrated because I have no more time for myself. But I realize that after a while, it's gonna get better.
There's no question Oscar De La Hoya is a heavyweight outside the ring. Boxing now waits to see if he can live up to all these expectations with his fists. Back live at ringside in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi, Casino Magic coming up immediately. Oscar De La Hoya in a 10-round fight against Renaldo Little Red Carter out of Detroit, probably the toughest opponent for De La Hoya so far in his early professional career. And here now is a look at Renaldo Carter. He won the first 20 fights of his career, then floundered for a while after his previous manager, Johnny Ace, was gunned down in a Detroit gun battle. Carter has shifted around in weight class, fighting several times at 135 pounds and up at 140 pounds. He comes back down in weight a little bit for this match against Oscar De La Hoya. Maybe that's something that De La Hoya's handlers think will be an advantage for them this evening, Larry.
That's true, but one of the disadvantages of being a young fighter like De La Hoya is that his reputation already is so great that he becomes a target, so that an opponent like this knows that this is an opportunity, and he may get himself back to where he was when he was 20-0 and feel like this can revive his career.
Renaldo Little Red Carter has won 3 of his last 4 fights in getting to 27-4-1. The one loss, a hotly disputed split decision against Jose Vidal on April 22. He comes out of a hotbed of fighters, the tough streets of Detroit, Michigan, and early in his career looked like a title shot prospect. He may still have a chance at a title shot, but if and only if he wins tonight against the star of the 1992 American Olympic team. And now the golden boy of American boxing, Oscar De La Hoya, surrounded by managers and family members as he leaves his dressing room to enter the ring.
You know, there's a practice today of signing young, bright prospects very, very early in their careers, from Jennifer Capriati to Shaq O'Neal and to Oscar De La Hoya. It disturbs you a little bit, but the great athlete turns that pressure into a great opportunity. He doesn't let it hold him back.
In his early professional career, he's been, if anything, Larry, I think better than most people thought he would be coming out of the Olympics.
There were some skeptics at that time. I don't think there are any now.
De La Hoya carrying American and Mexican flags as he enters the ring, a tribute to his dual heritage. He comes, of course, from East Los Angeles, an almost entirely Mexican-American neighborhood where he is, quite logically, beloved. 8 wins so far in his career, 7 by knockout. The most recent, a first-round destruction of former world champion and former world kickboxing champion Troy Dorsey on the undercard of Foreman Morrison in Las Vegas. He'll be fighting tonight at 132 pounds plus. Oscar's apparent target early in his career is a 130-pound world championship. Curious, because in his professional career, he's never been down to 130 yet. As an amateur, he fought at 132, and many people believe, Larry, yourself included, that it would be better to just go for a 135-pound lightweight championship.
Yeah, I don't get the point of weakening himself to fight a good fighter who a champion presumably would be.
Punch stat numbers, Larry.
And here are the numbers. You can see they are similar, a little bit more accuracy for De La Hoya. Jabs also similar.
Rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
Oscar De La Hoya and Renaldo Carter will box tonight using the rules of the Mississippi State Athletic Commission. 10 rounds. The standing 8 count is in effect. The 3 knockdown rule is in effect. Only the referee can stop the fight. You can be saved by the bell in the last round only. And in case a cut is caused by an accidental headbutt, and that cut causes the fight to be stopped, we go to the scorecards after 3 rounds have been completed. Before that, it's a technical draw. Jim.
Thank you, Harold. Right now, let's go up to ring announcer Michael Buffer for the pre-fight introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Casino Magic here in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi, where tonight Bob Arum and Top Rank Incorporated, in association with the undisputed, undefeated king of beers, Budweiser, proud to be your bud, present professional boxing for your entertainment. All the bouts tonight are sanctioned by the Mississippi State Athletic Commission, Chairman Mr. Billy Lyons, Commissioners in attendance Jim Fagan and Fred Angelis. Ringside position, Dr. James Crittenden. The timekeeper is Lanny Taylor. Counting for the knockdowns, Jerry Taylor. The scoring for this bout will be done on a 10-point must system, and the officials assigned at ringside as judges will be Elmo Adolph, Martin Casino, and Freddie Steinwinder. And when the bell rings, the official in charge of the action, referee Chester Como. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from Casino Magic here in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi, man your battle stations, 10 rounds of boxing in the junior lightweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the blue trunks with red trim, weighing in at 132 pounds even. He comes to us tonight from the Motor City of Detroit, Michigan. His professional record, 27 victories with 15 KOs. Only 4 defeats and 1 draw. Ladies and gentlemen, Renaldo Little Red Carter. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the white trunks with green trim, weighing in at 132 1/4 pounds. This 1992 Olympic gold medal champion is now undefeated with 8 consecutive victories, 7 by KO. He's already ranked as high as number 8 in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, the pride of East LA, the Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya.
Okay, man. Unring, man. Okay, man, you were giving your instructions earlier this afternoon. I want you to give me a good, clean fight. If you have any questions, or shake hands now and come out fight.
This is one of the few times when I feel I ought to be climbing into the ring before the first bell rings, Jim.
In other words, you're anticipating a possible first-round knockout?
Well, it is possible, but on the other hand, you know, Carter is a streetwise kid from Detroit, and maybe he's got something we don't know about. A streetwise kid from Detroit, and maybe he's got something we don't know about.
In case you're interested in which fighter appears to be more warmed up, it is Carter who is dry. Oscar De La Hoya, who has broken a sweat early as they go into round number 1. De La Hoya is regarded as an outstanding combination puncher who does not waste many shots. So far, he uses the jab more as a rangefinder than as a weapon. Renaldo Carter sees himself as a tough counterpuncher who can go at De La Hoya, particularly with the left hand. Left to the body, a little bit low by Carter. from referee Chester Como. So far it is Carter who's the aggressor. De La Hoya starting slowly, picking his spots, you might say, though he hasn't picked many of them so far. Right hand over the top lands for De La Hoya. Carter counters with a right of his own. Neither fighter very busy, but Carter is the busier of the two as we reach the midway point of round one. De La Hoya again led with the right over the top. And again. Stood still and allowed Carter to get him to the body, but obviously Oscar believes he's going to land that right hand effectively over the top.
Carter is a little quicker than De La Hoya may have expected. Good head movement, posing a problem right now.
Carter moving mostly to his left, apparently to stay away from the De La Hoya left hook. Right hand lands for Little Red Carter. Oscar leaving his hands down after he throws, maybe not prepared for Carter's countering offense. That right hand landed flush. But it didn't stun Carter, and Renaldo comes back with two combinations of his own.
Little Red has already reddened De La Hoya's face.
Figuratively or literally? Left hook lands for De La Hoya, and there you see the De La Hoya power as it momentarily pinned Carter to the ropes. And as we go to the De La Hoya corner, we introduce you to our interpreter working with us for the first time tonight, Hector Garcia.
Check down.
Come on, come on. Keep working. Start with your right and finish with your left.
There's the high right and the uppercut with the left by De La Hoya. He seems a little impatient between rounds because he didn't do enough business in that first round.
The first round, according to punch-stat numbers, a miss-a-thon. Carter threw 55, landed only 11. De La Hoya threw 39, landed only 9. So both fighters a little bit tentative as they try to find their way around each other in round number one. Now the second chapter begins. Short right hand landed inside for De La Hoya. Not a lot of sock behind it. Carter remains the busier of the two at the outset of round two. Right hand was blocked. Solid right by De La Hoya momentarily stuns Carter. Carter comes back the way he knows how with offense and leaves himself open, but Oscar doesn't go back in. There's the left hook. Just missed. Another right hand lands over the top for De La Hoya. There's a danger as he lands that lead right hand that Oscar will fall to headhunting, but you saw the power in the left hook. And there again, the left hook lands. And Carter backs up and backs away. He has stopped throwing as De La Hoya begins to throw the lead right hand over and over again.
If he does that a few more times, it will tend to slow up Carter's jab.
Carter's defense down. That time De La Hoya landing the combination. And Oscar is beginning to penetrate what little defense there is in Renaldo Carter's fight plan. particularly, Larry, with the lead right hand. And you're right, he's bringing it right over the top of Carter's jab, and now Carter has begun to jab considerably less frequently. Another right hand over the top. And a left hook. No need for body punching right now as De La Hoya tries to target Renaldo Carter. Referee Chester Como, refereed on a card here Thursday night, was very slow to stop fights. So you may see Little Red take some punishment if Oscar gets it going. Right hand landed in the corner. De La Hoya increasingly accurate with these combinations. This is a tough opponent on paper, but it's rapidly becoming target practice as round 2 comes to a close, and Carter goes down as much from exhaustion as from any punching at that moment. Referee didn't bother with a count, and round 2 comes to a close.
That was an impressive round for De La Hoya. The way he pursues an opponent with his kind of boxing skills is very uncommon at this stage of a fighter's career.
He's got room. He's taller than you are, and you can't beat him like that. Take a deep breath.
You got to get down. Get down. You're pulling out.
Run into him with this shoulder. Now, show you how to do that.
Carter gave him some problems in the first round. De La Hoya keeps coming, looking for the answers, finding them.
The voice you hear in Renaldo Carter's corner is that of veteran Detroit trainer Taylor Smith, and you heard him telling him between rounds, you can't give the man that much room. He's taller than you are. So obviously Taylor Smith believes that Carter must go inside somehow. De La Hoya in the second round landed 55% of the punches he threw, 36 out of 66. And now Carter's face is beginning to show the results of that kind of De La Hoya tattoo. Carter trying to find his way inside early in round 3. Well, he's a good listener. He's going to have to punch his way in. He won't be able to get there by lunging. De La Hoya is going to go back to the lead right hand over the top. Carter trying to land his own right hand. Comes to the head and the body. Left hook to the head. De La Hoya landing. Short punches, not a lot of power behind them. But they are bothering Carter because he seems to have no defense for De La Hoya's hand quickness. The two right hands had mustard on them. De La Hoya goes to the body for the first time, and it sets up a right hand that wobbles Carter. A minute and 40 seconds of target practice coming up. Renaldo Carter wobbles to the corner. De La Hoya back to the body again with the left hand. Oscar has discovered that if he brings the left hook to the body, the right hand will be open over the top. Again, De La Hoya cracks to the body with the left hand, and Carter backs up all the way across the ring. Straight right hand again landed for De La Hoya. Carter showing his toughness. He's taking a lot of punishment. Knee down. And this time, referee Chester Como does allow himself to pick up the ringside count.
It looked like a right hand. I'm not sure if it landed flush or if it had to.
Well, there's been such an accumulation of blows to this point, Larry, that Carter is vulnerable to just about anything that lands quickly and directly. Another straight right hand right on the chin. Oscar forgetting the body for just a moment, maybe because he lands the right hand over the top so easily. goes back with the left hook to the body. And again, Carter has nothing in return.
Carter has to take some chances and try to hurt De La Hoya. He has to land a big punch somewhere in here to get De La Hoya to back up.
Carter tries to taunt De La Hoya at the end of round 3, but it was a round in which Renaldo took a fearsome beating.
How's that feel? Good?
Feel good.
Here, wait a minute. Look at the back here. De La Hoya is a boxer puncher in the truest sense of the term. He uses his boxing ability to set up his punches. He's trying to make things happen with his boxing ability so that he can get to his opponent in a very positive way.
Down. Seconds down. Back in your corner. Back in your corner. In your corner.
And that last was the knockdown. Now, Carter has been down twice. I'm not sure that the trip to the canvas in round 2 was officially scored a knockdown because referee Chester Como never picked up.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't, Jim. It was declared a slip.
Well, I think that was a bad call. To me, that one looked to be even more the direct product of punching than what happened in round 3. But at any rate, call it one official knockdown so far. Incidentally, the ring ropes, I should say, are very loose. So when Carter goes back into those ropes, he's not going to find stiff support. There's every chance he could go right through and out of the ring. De La Hoya focusing now with more concentration on getting the left hand to the body. And when he does, it sets up the open right hand shot over the top. Right cross wobbles Carter again. At this point, Carter knows what's coming. He knows that the right-hand lead is going to be there. Oscar just delivers it so quickly that he's unable to defend himself. Left to the body, right and left to the head. Carter counters with a left and then tries a right cross but misses. That time he lands the right cross on the shoulder.
There is the look in the eyes of De La Hoya of a young man with tremendous ambition. Tremendously focused. And quick.
In his amateur days, it was impossible to see if there was a mean streak to go with all that talent. But I think, Larry, we are beginning to see it. When he cut Troy Dorsey in round 1 in Vegas a couple months ago, he told us that he began targeting the eyes immediately and looked for more blood. Now he has Renaldo Carter in more trouble with 30 seconds to go in round 4.
I think that ambition in boxing implies a mean streak. You can't play this game if you don't have it.
Well, he seems to all the world such a gentle, sweet kid that you wonder if it's there in his character. But certainly in the ring, he is becoming more and more the assassin with each outing. And still to come tonight, a look at Roy Jones Jr., star of the 1988 American Olympic team, just as De La Hoya was the star of the 1992 Olympic team. Jones against Tulani Sugar Boy Malinga of South Africa in a 10-round super middleweight bout immediately following De La Hoya Carter. That was Roy live in his dressing room. he has been exceptionally relaxed here in what we might call his neighborhood. Just a short drive up the coast from Roy Jones's home in Pensacola.
There's that very quick right hand that De La Hoya sometimes uses as a sort of heavy jab.
Round 5 begins, and Carter has done pretty well to get this far, because after a slow first round, it has been a 3-round reign of terror for Oscar De La Hoya, who has now landed 53% of his 242 attempted punches in the fight, a lot of them power punches. Harold Letterman, very quickly, how do you have the fight scored through the first 4?
Jim, 3 rounds to 1, 39-36, Oscar De La Hoya. Give him an extra point in the 3rd round for the knockdown.
My sentiment is exactly Harold.
A little bit slower for Oscar De La Hoya in the first minute of round 5. He has been the 8-round distance in his career. He has never gone past the 8th round. The one fight in which he did not score a knockout was an 8-round tour against Mike Grable on April 6th of this year. Responsible for the knockdown.
7, 8.
And he had the attitude in that knockdown. I think I've had enough of this kid. He's proved it to me.
Solid right over the top. Carter in trouble in the middle of the ring, tries to fight back wildly, leaving himself open. De La Hoya intelligently goes back to the body with the left hook, and then comes upstairs with the left hook and lands. One of the toughest things for young fighters at the developmental stage of an Oscar De La Hoya is learning how to finish. He certainly shows that he has the patience. Does he have the punching power to make himself effective in these situations where his opponent is in trouble and might be finished off?
He definitely is not a one-punch knockout type of fighter from what I can see, but he is fighting a tough kid who's quite experienced and is a good opponent for this stage of his career. He asked some questions of De La Hoya in the first round that perhaps De La Hoya hadn't been asked before. De La Hoya has answered them the way you would want him to.
Renaldo Carter has been knocked out twice in his career, both of them technical knockouts. One at the hands of Daniel Garcia, the other Hector Lizarraga. They were years ago. It's been more than 3 years now since Carter's been knocked out.
Real deep.
I ain't tired, my leg.
He's tired. Red, look. He's tired. He's tired too, look. I don't care what it is, you got to go. You can't give up.
Red, this guy's dead tired. Didn't you see he didn't throw no punches that round? Did you see that? All right, then make him pay for it. Here, spit that out.
That's Joey Fariello, veteran trainer working with Taylor Smith as a cut man tonight.
There you see Carter going down, maybe from that fatigue that he was discussing with his corner, because he wasn't hit with anything that looked hard enough to knock him down. Few little white lies in the corner of a man who's having a hard time. Nothing wrong with that, is there, Jim?
I think Taylor Smith was correct in suggesting that De La Hoya had tired a little bit at the end of round 5. Let's see if Oscar can regain his energy in round 6 now. Carter's commitment to the bout clearly waning. What can De La Hoya do to accelerate that particular mental process? Now, as was the case in round 1, Little Red Carter comes out the busier fighter to begin round 6. Missing, but throwing. De La Hoya savage to the body with the left hook. Oscar looks and looks and looks, and then either throws the left hook to the body or the right cross across the top, depending on which way Carter goes with his defense. De La Hoya told us in our meeting with him that he would chop Carter down. Body first, head second. No sign so far that the left hand is bothering De La Hoya. When he has committed to the left hook to the body, he's gone ahead and thrown it with vigor. Right hands again landing across the top. Carter showing some courage and commitment by hanging in here. He's here as an opponent. He is expected to go down, and he goes down again.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's a minute to go. I don't know if he has a minute left in him.
Third knockdown of the bout. Carter looking for another place to fall on the canvas as De La Hoya attacks again. This should be stopped. This should be stopped, and it will be. Oscar De La Hoya with an impressive 6th round technical knockout in his debut appearance on HBO.
Impressive, Jim, because of the way he went about it. He had a difficult first round, didn't let it bother him, did what he does best, and was very patient about it. Very positive, very patient, let the knockout happen, didn't overextend himself to make it happen.
It took him 2 or 3 rounds, Larry, to remember to go to the body, but once he did go to the body with the left hook, he was utterly dominant from that point on.
Well, he was fighting a little guy, and sometimes I guess the tendency is, how do I get down there? This guy is so little, and it's going to... But he straightened Carter up, I think, as the fight went on, and made Carter vulnerable. And the very fact that he went to the body tells you something about how many rounds this kid has fought, if not as a professional, in the gym since he's turned professional, and in all of those many years he fought as an amateur.
Let's take a look at the first knockdown now in round 6. And now the same knockdown from another angle.
The right hand was what did it, but it took Carter a few seconds to figure it out.
And there was a little left hook that landed before the right hand that set up that right cross across the top. And now here, the point at which Como elected finally to stop the fight. And at that point, Larry, Carter was simply trying to get away and clearly had no commitment to trying to continue the process. Oscar De La Hoya waited for referee Chester Como to stop the bout before he began the celebration of his 9th professional victory. Now let's go up to ring announcer Michael Buffer for the official particulars on victory number 9 for De La Hoya.
Chester Como calls a halt to the bout. The official time, 2 minutes and 10 seconds of round number 6. The winner by TKO victory, his record now 9-0. 8 KOs, the still undefeated pride of East LA, the Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya.
So there you have it. 2 minutes, 10 seconds of round number 6. De La Hoya dominated the last 5 rounds of the bout after a relatively tentative round number 1. Final punch stat numbers from Logan Hobson and Bob Canobio show us. Total punches, 191 landed for De La Hoya, more than 3 times as many as Renaldo Little Red Carter was able to land. De La Hoya threw 71 more punches than Carter, and you see the connect percentage of 53% when a fighter of De La Hoya's punching power at 132 pounds lands that way. He is ultimately going to put his opponent away, and that's exactly what he did. Let's go to Larry Merchant with Oscar right now.
All right, Oscar, congratulations. first round, not an easy round. What were your thoughts at that moment? You seemed a little impatient and unhappy with yourself after that first round.
Well, what happened was we didn't have much time to put on the reps because the commission kind of took one off and we had to start it all over again. I didn't have no time to warm up. So I kind of wanted to use the first 2 rounds to warm up and then go after the guy, Little Red Carter, and it worked. I mean, we have 10 rounds to box, and 5 rounds is not too bad.
All right, let's take a look at some of the knockdowns here in a moment, as soon as we can roll them up, Oscar. Tell us, in your words, what's happening here.
Well, my right hands were working pretty good. I was trying to throw my right hands with my left hooks, and we were working a lot with the right hands, throwing it to the chin, working the body, and our game plan just came out perfectly.
He seemed to go down as much from exhaustion as from your punches.
What we were trying to do was wear out my opponents in the later rounds. I've studied a lot of tapes of the great fighters like Julio Cesar Chavez and great fighters like Leonard and fighters like that. And what they try to do is wear out their opponents, use the pressure, throw punches, make them miss a lot. And we try to work on that, and it works very good.
You seem obsessed with winning a 130-pound championship, even though you have had some difficulty even at getting to 132. You fought as an amateur 132. Why would you want to weaken yourself and go back to 130?
Just 1 week ago I came in at 129, 2 days in a row. So making 130 is no problem for myself. A lot of people think that it's a problem, but I feel very strong. I weighed in at 132 for this fight. 3 pounds will not hurt at all.
Thank you very much, Oscar.
Thank you.
So the beat and the beatings of Oscar De La Hoya keep on keeping on. Jim?
All right, thanks a lot, Larry. Keep on keeping on.
Jim?
All right, thanks a lot, Larry. Keep on keeping on indeed. And coming up here on HBO, immediately following the main event this evening, a 166-pound battle, super middleweight level between IBF middleweight champion Roy Jones, looking to move up in weight perhaps very shortly down the road, against Thulani Sugarboy Malinga of South Africa. Thulani Malinga has never been knocked out in 43 fights, a relatively tough opponent. Well, as Larry has pointed out to you, the apparent ambition of Oscar De La Hoya, who is going to be fighting again as soon as 13 days from now, in this early, heavy period of activity in his career, is to zero in on a 130-pound championship. Apparently, De La Hoya wants to win the 130-pound title before moving up to 135 somewhere down the road. Most people expect him to wind up as a welterweight or perhaps even a middleweight later on in his career. The 3 reigning 130-pound champions are Genaro Hernandez, WBA, Azuma Nelson, and John Molina for the other 2 world governing bodies. The De La Hoya people will not say which of the 3 they are targeting at this moment, Larry Merchant, although the suspicion is they're looking for a fight against Genaro Hernandez a little bit later on this fall. That would be a tough assignment. Oscar, at least off of what he did tonight, appears to be up to it.
Well, I'm not sure. That's a different level of opposition. I'm not sure how good Hernandez is, but I understand that he's undefeated. He was very impressive in his last fight. I don't know still what the rush is with De La Hoya. He's still 20 years old, 9 professional fights. Perhaps all the amateur fights he has really means he has had much more experience than a man with 9 professional fights. My own view is to let him grow into his body and fight at lightweight, but he's their man, and they haven't done anything wrong yet, so maybe they're right.
The blue sky feeling is that because of the sparkling personality, the style in the ring, the Latino-American appeal, the ability to appeal to 2 cultures, that in terms of stardom, the sky is the limit. You agree?
Well, the sky probably is the limit for him, but I would remind him that there have been many great fighters who have just been great in one division. You don't have to win 5 titles to be a great fighter, and that seems to be some spur to his ambition, the idea of winning a whole lot of titles, even if, in my view, anything between 130 and 140 is lightweight.